Imagine stepping into a world where every sword clash, every whispered conspiracy, and every heartfelt alliance feels as real as the ground beneath your feet. Welcome to Hynafol, a unique and fully themed LARP located right outside of Austin, Texas. Hello, my name is Kiki. I make videos about all kinds of fantasy stuff, and in 2024, I started LARPing for the first time ever. My first LARP that I went to was Beekaleen in Canada, and the second one I went to was Hynafol LARP in Austin, Texas. And they were both so fun. I made a video about both of them. I'll leave them both in the description. I'll leave my Hynafol video right here. But I just wanted to give a quick recap of what the event is actually like and answer all the questions that you guys have left me. Hynafol is a live-action role-playing event that merges the thrill of high-stakes fantasy adventures with the artistry of storytelling. It's set in a medieval fantasy world. This isn't even just about the battles, it's about living in a fully immersive, ever-evolving narrative. As soon as you arrive, you no longer go by your real name. You are a character in the world of Hynafol. You get to pick your name and plan the character you'd like to play as with as little or as much effort and backstory as you're comfortable with. A lot of people come with just a name and they leave with a full backstory. This is amazing because it makes it super easy for new folks to get involved. Every decision you make, every alliance you forge, and every risk that you take can change the course of the overarching story. The world of Hynafol is pretty large. It's a sprawling medieval village. It's set in the grounds of the Sherwood Forest Ren Fair in Texas. And there are sport courts, a castle, taverns, and battlefields ready for epic clashes. But it's not just the physical world that makes Hynafol special, it's the people. The Hynafol community that really, to me, brought this place to life. Every player from seasoned warriors to first-time adventurers contribute to the game. You'll meet royalty, fantastical creatures, merchants trading or selling their wares, nobles plotting their next move in the political game, and many other characters on their own quest that might never overlap with your own. And that is what makes it feel like such a real lived-in place. You'll sit down to eat maybe and, someone will sit next to you and you'll ask what they've been up to. And they might tell you about a quest and it involves people and places and guilds that you've never even heard of before. And you may never talk to each other again, who knows? So how does Hynafol work? It is a mixture of live-action roleplay, improv, and structured game mechanics. You can choose to follow the main storyline, explore side quests, or just live life in the village as the character you've imagined for yourself. One day you might be at a market trading goods, the next day you could be ambushed by a hostile group of shades in the middle of the night. The story isn't just written for you, it's also written by you, by the players. Your choices shape the world, and the in-game consequences are as real as the friendships you'll make along the way. One of my favorite things about going to a LARP is the visuals. It's mind-blowing to me. I love making costumes and dressing up, but seeing everyone's props, costumes, and even the grounds with all of the buildings, it's just next level. I feel like I am truly immersed in a video game or a D&D campaign, and I just get to do my own quests. It's so fun. Immersion is everything in Hynafol. When you're in costume, surrounded by others just as dedicated as you are, if not more so, it's easy to forget that the modern world even exists. This is what makes roleplay way easier than you might think. I was a little intimidated before attending my first LARP, which was Beekaleen in Canada, but I went with the Voyage North, and I met so many other people within my guild as well as in other guilds that were into the roleplay and the story, and it made it so much easier for me to participate and just kind of jump in. So, why should you consider Hynafol, you ask? Whether you're a diehard LARPer or someone who's just curious about stepping into this world, Hynafol has something for everyone, and it's a place to let your imagination just kind of run wild. You will have unforgettable experiences and memories. You will probably make a ton of new friends, and you will be part of something truly unique, and I can't wait to go again. If you visit Hynafol's website, you can view all of the different options for attending the grand gathering and make it suit your needs. I personally enjoyed camping in a guild, staying in a medieval canvas tent, But if you'd rather bring an RV or a non-decorum tent, there are different options. Okay, I have gathered all of your questions that you guys have left me, and I also talked to Taylor, who is one of the game masters, to help get accurate answers for all of these questions. So let's start with the Q&A. Where is it located? How large are the grounds? And what is there? Sherwood Forest Fair is situated on a 162-acre property in McDade, Texas. The central medieval style village, which serves as the active fair area, encompasses about 25 acres and features over 100 permanent buildings, including stages, pubs, merchant shops, and a complete castle. The remaining acreage is allocated for parking, camping, and other uses. What is the Grand Gathering, and how does it tie into the other events throughout the year at Hynafol? The Grand Gathering is the ultimate event at Hynafol, where everything from the smaller games throughout the year, like loot grabs, tournaments, fantasy balls, they all come together. These smaller events are kind of like stepping stones, letting players gather their resources, gain quests, build alliances, and shape the world, so that by the time the Grand Gathering arrives, the stakes are massive. Guilds compete for power, territories will shift, and major quests kick off that ripple into future games. The climax of the year's story is the launch pad for everything to come in the next year, making every event a crucial part of the larger narrative. Next question. Is the living situation in or out of game, or is there both? The living situation at Hynafol is both in-game and out-of-game depending on where you are. Once the game begins, the entire area of the fairgrounds is considered in-game, including the non-decorum camping areas. However, inside of your personal living space, like your tent, camper, car, or room if you're staying in the castle, is out of game, which kind of gives you a place to step out of character and take a break. Additionally, some areas like the medical tent are strictly out of character zones, so you don't need to use your character name or anything there. In the decorum costume, is there a strict era or age? So this is from the website. Hynafol does not correspond to a single time period in Earth's history. The setting, however, draws inspiration from the early Middle Ages through the Renaissance, with a few outlier examples outside of that time. Players should consider any time period before the Renaissance as acceptable attire to be worn. There are some examples of attire that are acceptable after the Renaissance period, such as pirates, Lance Connect, and a few others. If you have any questions about a style of clothing, you can also ask in the Discord server. If you want to join Hynafol's Discord server, you can find that on their website. How accessible is it for those with disabilities? The terrain at these fairgrounds features natural, unpaved pathways that may present challenges for individuals with mobility impairments. While the fairgrounds that Hynafol utilizes strive to accommodate all guests, the rustic environment and limited infrastructure can make navigation difficult for those requiring mobility aids. Additionally, the fair's rural location may affect the availability of certain accessibility services, but for any specific inquiries or assistance, it's recommended to contact Hynafol directly for specifics. You can email them or set up a call with their staff from the info on their website. Hi, are you helping? How do businesses become vendors? First, you'll need to review all of the vendor information to understand the event's immersive setting and all the requirements. This includes costume expectations, the type of products you can sell, and the operating hours for your booth. Once you're familiar with everything, you'll fill out the vendor application and submit it by the deadline. I will leave the link down in the description. As a vendor, you'll need to wear period-appropriate costume and stay in character while you're in the public decorum areas. Your products should fit the medieval or fantasy theme, and modern items are a no-go. If you're using digital payment methods like credit cards, try to keep it discreet to maintain immersion. And an important note for anyone who is selling weapons: while you can display and sell them at the event, they must be delivered or shipped after the event. You cannot hand them out on the spot. You are also responsible for the security of your booth and items, so plan ahead to keep everything safe during and after hours. What is the in-game currency, and how do you make money? What can you spend it on? The in-game currency of Hynafol consists of 6 different coin types, which I will have on screen here. golden bars, which are worth 3 crowns, gold crowns, gold bits, silver pieces, silver towers, and coppers. How you will earn money: starting players will receive an allotment of coins at the check-in for each event. The Grand Gathering provides the largest amount of starting pay, with smaller events offering some smaller allocations. Winning battles or participating as an NPC, such as bandits, pirates, or other adversaries that will be fighting the other players, you can earn additional coins for that. There were people from my guild who basically volunteered to be shades, and it was kind of funny because the whole concept of shades is that the thing that makes them kind of spooky is the fact that they are monsters, but they're often wearing like the clothes of your friends. And it's funny because you'll be fighting people and then you'll see someone from your guild and be like, that guy looks familiar. But you know, get that bag. Many quests also include monetary rewards for successful completion. Players can also sell items like handmade goods, baked treats, or other small trinkets for in-game currency. Additionally, players start with a citizen card, a valuable resource that can be sold for large sums to guilds or monarchs for strategic purposes. If you watched my video, you probably saw the bazaar that was held where people had booths out and they were selling stuff that they made. I want to participate in that next year, so I'll probably be bringing stuff to sell. I had a ton of fun at that event. The last way you can make in-game money is vocations. Players can pick a vocation or job your character does at the event. From alchemists, bards, guardians, to thieves and assassins, you can get paid for offering a service as your character's vocation. Okay, so what can you spend your money on? Tournaments. You can enter official tournaments like fencing, tug-of-war, or archery. It requires coins, offering opportunities to win significant prizes. If you watched my video, you will have seen there was a bludgeoning competition that took 2 bits to enter, but the 3 prizes were leather armor and brand new LARP weapons, which was so cool, which I think that's worth 2 fake coins, you know? You can buy in-game items and resources. You can bid in auctions, like I did in my video. You can purchase alchemical ingredients or obtain potions. Players selling items for in-game currency provide opportunities to purchase unique wares like bread, which we bought, fans, which I bought, or crafted accessories like this thing that I bought, this fur. Someone made this. I think I bought this for 4 bits, which is insane because these are real bones and I love it. It's my favorite thing ever now. How does one become a healer for battles? In Hynafol, magical healing is the key to staying alive on the battlefield, and it's all tied to the use of healing timers. But it's not just about flipping the timer, there is more to it. So here's how it works. Healers must hold their timer in their hand while performing a prayer or a ritual unique to their religion. The player lasts the full 30 seconds as the timer runs. They also need to remain in physical contact with the injured player, like a hand on their shoulder or foot-to-foot contact. When the timer is completed, the injured player is now fully healed and ready to jump back into the action. Okay, so how does this tie into the in-game religions? Each religion gets access to these healing timers based on its size. So every religion is guaranteed at least 1 timer for their high priest or priestess. But this is where it gets really interesting. For every 10 followers of a religion, they gain 1 additional timer. A religion with 10 to 19 members gets 2 timers. If they grow to 20 or more members, they get a 3rd timer, and so on. So this means that larger religions can field more healers and provide more support on the battlefield. Do you need to join a guild? Also, how do you go about joining one? So in Hynafol, joining a guild is not mandatory, but it's the best way, in my opinion, to kind of get into the gameplay and story. Most of the action, quests, politics, battles, and major events happens through the guilds. So if you want to get more involved, it's a great idea to join one. And if you're feeling ambitious, you could even create your own. Each guild has its own way of welcoming new members. Some have initiation ceremonies, others are invite only, and some are fully open, letting you join with ease. The key is to talk to the guild leader. Guild leaders are players just like you who have stepped up to lead their groups. They're the go-to person for learning about their guild and what is required to join. The easiest way to connect with the guild leader is through the Hynafol Discord. So while you don't have to join a guild, doing so will open up a world of opportunities for deeper gameplay, alliances, and a bigger role in the story of Hynafol. What do you recommend for first-timers in terms of bringing things like outfits, weapons, etc.? So if you are a first-timer heading to Hynafol or a LARP in general, here is what I would recommend to bring to make sure you're comfortable, prepared, and ready to dive into the adventure. First, pack enough outfits for every day of the event. If there are special events like a masquerade, you might want to plan a specific outfit to change into for that. Be ready for all kinds of weather, something light for the hot sun during the day, which it was very hot and humid. Even in November, I did not realize.
Make sure they have hydration potion and they have drinks.
Hydration.
Yes, hydration or dehydration.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
very hot here in Texas, even in November. People don't understand.
But also, it started to rain at night and it got pretty cold, so you'll also want to bring layers to bundle up when the temperatures drop. Here's a pro tip. Bring way more socks than you think you'll need. You're going to be walking pretty much all the time, so socks and good footwear, please. Bring sturdy, reliable shoes that are good for running and battling in the woods. This is an active sport if you are participating in the battles, and good shoes can really save you from twisting an ankle. When I went to Beekleen, I had 2 pairs of shoes, and they were both pretty good, but one pair was like way better than the other, and I ended up just wearing those shoes every single day, and they were so comfy. And I met so many people who got like shin splints. Granted, Hynafol is not as big as Beekleen, but still, just be aware. You're gonna be walking. You will also need a decorum timepiece, like a pocket watch, since modern watches and phones are really out of place here. Also, if you're sleeping in a tent, you might want to bring like earplugs or something if noise bothers you, because people will be questing quite late. If you are planning to fight, latex LARP weapons are a must. You will also want a decorum drinking vessel for beverages, like a tankard or a chalice. It's one of my favorite accessories. Rain is also likely to happen, so you're really probably going to want a waterproof cloak. A modern rain jacket and umbrella will not fit the theme, but a waterproof cloak was like my saving grace when I went to Beekleen. Thankfully, it only rained at Hynafol when we were sleeping in the tent. I made a waterproof cloak, which I will actually link a video below on how to make one. I literally cut up a bed sheet. I didn't even hem it or anything. And then you basically just use wax to keep the water like rolling off of you. 'Twas a must. Hynafol also provides a full packing list of recommendations before the event to help you feel fully prepared for the adventure. Do I need to bring my own weapons to join battles? Yes. You'll need to bring your own weapons to join the battles at Hynafol, but if you don't have one yet, you can also purchase battle-approved weapons at the event. So whether you come prepared or plan to pick one up on site, you will be ready to jump into the fights. My first LARP, I only had like a small suitcase, so my LARP weapon was very short, and it worked fine. I was not going to be going up against pikes or anything, but I did bring some larger weapons this time. I just bought a old golf case on like a marketplace online and packed that as one of my bags, and I was able to bring my extra long sword, which is great because I have short little arms. If I come alone, will my experience be different? I do not think so. If you come by yourself, I think you're gonna have an amazing time. I went to my first LARP meeting up with a friend, but ultimately we decided we wanted to do different quests. So we didn't really hang out that much there, and we both made a bunch of different friends that we were doing quests with. I will also link my friend Jess's video down below. She went by herself, and she said that this is probably arguably one of the better places to travel by yourself, because you're going to an event where people want to talk to you and they want to hang out and they want to do quests with you. So you're not going to feel left out because everyone wants to be doing stuff together. So it's probably one of the better places to travel alone and make friends. You can also start making friends before the event even begins if you join the Discord. I talked to a ton of people that once I got there, I was like, wow, we've already like discussed like our plans and stuff, and now we can just like hang out, which is so fun. By the time the event is over, you will probably leave with a ton of new friends. There's people there that want to be doing what you are doing, and so I think you will have a blast. How in-depth does my character and backstory need to be? Your character and backstory does not need to be in-depth at all. Hynafol does have a character creation form that will help guide you with some questions to get the ideas flowing. Taylor said, we recommend coming with just a basic idea and letting your backstory develop as you play. This way you can learn more about the world, interact with other characters, and even tie your story into theirs as you go. What are shades? Shades are eerie, white-masked monsters that emerge mostly at night in Hynafol. What makes them even creepier is that they often wear clothes of a character you may know, but they act completely different. This goes back to the vocation thing and like having a job for in-game money. I saw plenty of people like in my guilds fighting me as a shade, and I'm like, oh my god, that person looks just like my friend. It's so fun. If you don't want to be involved in fighting the shades, you can get a Fey protection band from the Hynafol team. At night, this will be like a light up bracelet, and in the daytime, it's like a golden armband. So anyone who sees you wearing one of those will know that you do not want to participate in the fighting, and they will not try to make you do that. They will not come up to you and try to battle you or anything. So, what are the current guilds? I will attach the guild book in the description because there are a lot and I cannot go through all of them right now. But if you want to read that, I will leave it below for you. What is the process of bartering in LARPs? Can you do it out of game? In Hynafol, bartering is part of the immersive experience, but it depends on who you're dealing with. Vendors at the event are allowed to sell their merchandise for real world money, so you cannot barter with them. They're not involved. But when it comes to players using in-game currency to sell their own stuff, it's a whole different story. The players can choose to barter or not barter at their own discretion. There's no specific system or rules dictating how players can handle trades for fictional coin. So it's all about how the negotiation plays out in character. It is important to note though that all gameplay, including bartering, should remain in-game and not spill into out-of-game transactions. This will keep the focus on the immersive experience. That's kind of what makes this event so special. But side note, if you do need to talk to someone out of character, you become a unicorn. You put your hand on your head like this, and this means I'm not in my character, like I'm gonna tell you something. How much would you recommend Hynafol as someone's first LARP? I have roleplay experience and I love dressing for Renaissance fairs, but I have yet to LARP. I think this is a fantastic choice for someone's first LARP, especially if you already have role-playing experience and like dressing up for Renaissance fairs. It's really beginner friendly and there's so many resources and opportunities to get you prepared and feeling confident before the game even begins. Hynafol offers battle training and new player training right at the beginning of the events, and there are free to access documents outlining all of the gameplay rules and systems, making it easy to understand how everything works. You basically can just read this before the event and really understand like how the battles work, how the healing works, etc. Hynafol is full of players who this is their very first LARP. You'd be joining a community where most players have been in your shoes and are more than happy to help and welcome you into this wonderful hobby. That is all I have. I hope this helped familiarize you with the event and answered your questions. I really like hearing about people's LARP experiences. I think it's really fun. So even if you haven't been to Hynafol, I want to know your favorite LARP story. Please tell me. I want to hear your lore. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, do all of the things. I make lots of videos about immersive adventures and fantasy, so, you know, thanks for watching. And I hope to see you on the battlefield next Grand Gathering. With as little, oh my god, my dyslexia is going crazy. You know, I'm gonna get this line. I'm gonna get it. Ow. You know when you, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's a handsome man. Oh.
Oh, a handsome boy.